Howdy, my name is Madison, and this is my final project. So, we were tasked with interviewing an older person in our family, and I chose to interview my dad, who is 60. He was born in February of 1965. And this is just going to be a brief overview of our interview and the questions that I asked him. And I have them up on the screen so that you know in context to the answer I'm giving. First, the first question, he said that growing up was very awesome, for to put it in exact words. He lived in the country, in Nassau Bay, and he was across from the NASA space program, which was just starting to really upcome. And his dad was in engineering for NASA. He grew up hunting and fishing and outside a lot, is what he said. And then for the expectations of him, he said that his expectations were to clean his room, do his dishes once a week, make good grades, be kind and courteous, and brush his teeth. And he said his parents wanted him to always play at least one sport, whether that was soccer, track, basketball, football, etc. For the third question, he said that his transition from adolescence to adulthood, it was pretty fast. He graduated high school, and him and my mom got married right after high school. And he said that there was an oil bust, so it was difficult to find work and learn trades. And eventually that led to him and my mom moving to Cape Cod, Massachusetts. And for the fourth question, he said that what really inspired his career was watching an addition be made to his parents' house. And that kind of inspired him to want to learn carpentry as his trade, which would eventually transpire into construction and owning a construction business. Um, as for number five, he said that the societal expectations and views were a lot more conservative, especially in terms of like LGBTQ plus, and expression through tattoos and piercings. That stuff is a lot more normalized now. But back then that was a lot more hush hush and not as accepted. Um, for number six, he said that the biggest obstacle for him was honestly moving to a new state at 20 years old. That was uprooting his entire life, everything he had known, in a new marriage. And he said and just finding work was really difficult. And he had physical injuries that he got during working that made it hard to find work and keep it consistent enough to make money. Um, Eventually, he ended up moving back home after learning a lot about the trade, and things got better. For number seven, he said that his accomplishments that he's most proud of is marrying his wife, my mom, having three kids, and all the grandkids that he has, and also his construction company. He started that when I was younger. It took a lot of work to get it off the ground and running, but now it's very successful. He has over 30 employees and multiple offices, and he works really, really hard, but he's super proud of it. Um, for number eight, dealing with periods of uncertainty, he said that just by pushing through, just persevering and praying, that things would get better. He wasn't the type to sit around and watch things go bad. He definitely took a more proactive stance, and tried to take the bull by the horns, if that's kind of what he said. And for number nine, what legacy does he hope to leave behind? A strong family tree with a good idea of what love and marriage should be, and supporting your family unconditionally, and also a successful company. I'm not sure exactly how that legacy will continue, but hopefully, with me and my siblings all have working for him before we can eventually take over that legacy and continue it. And for number 10, the last question, his advice or expectations for the younger generation is to work hard, um, work as hard as you can, as much as you can when you're young, so that when you're older, all that work will have paid off. And to stay true to yourself, and what you believe in, and to keep traditions. And he said that that is how we preserve advice and expectations. And overall, he said that's what he believes builds success. But yeah, that is my final project, an interview with my dad. And I really enjoyed this class. Thank you for everything.